notice the items in red, the numbers haven't changed, but where we're reallocating those funds have. And at the very bottom of the first page, the Coach Mays and the head athletic coordinators got together and compared notes and came up with an alternate way so that cross-country and soccer could remain at least in place for another year. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask Coach Mays, he is in attendance tonight. On the second page, we left off some positions, and that's the reason they're in red. They haven't been added. We just neglected to put them on from the original page. And that is one of the things I want to just give everybody a heads up. This kind of information is changing on a daily basis. So when you want to know which is the most current, I've asked Buddy to time date everything. Because numbers will come in, things will change, and will constantly be updated. So you will know you have the most current information when you check the most current time date. And I'd also like to point out at the very end on the third page, Dr. Will, would you like to cover? Well, this is just the outcomes that I think Dr. Roy's mentioned most of those, but I think everyone needs to know, especially our audience, what we hope to achieve with the budget reduction outcome. And number one is very, very important, and that is to maintain the employment for all current district staff by reducing positions and transferring employees into vacancies as they occur prior to the 2011-12 school year. People, when they see the word reduction, they think their job is going away, and that is not the case. So we wanted to make very clear in these documents that that's the district's commitment, that we will find places for everyone, and that is a part of the budget resolution that you had a chance to look at over the weekend. The second expected outcome is that the board's consideration of a possible employee salaries increase for 2011-12, and Dr. Roy has just spoken to that. That was in your budget presentation in November, and it's still a part of expectations or outcomes for this budget process, and is reflected in the resolution that you are going to consider and hopefully adopt December 13th. And then the last one is proposed reduction outcomes are contingent upon upcoming legislative action, and that reinforces what Dr. Boyd just said a moment ago, that we can't plan out 2, 3, and 4 years. We'll be just lucky to get through this spring and keep our heads above water as events unfold at the state level. So that I wanted to make sure everyone that did not get a copy of the handout clearly understands the outcomes for that. We did have some questions come in.
Thanks for you to interrupt for 1 second. But one thing you didn't mention, I'm not sure we're clear on, is that there are a handful of positions where people would see significant reductions in the salary. Because what happens is we have some positions that are not certified positions, and we don't actually have a place for those folks other than some paraprofessional position, something like that. So we really would not be a profession. If we move from professional position to professional position, we can accommodate a job, certainly not as good a job. And there are only four people that would be impacted that way. So it's important that you know in case that issue comes up, someone were to contact one of you and say, wait a minute, I'm getting the job all right, but I'm making $25,000 less. That's a certification issue. Linda, I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. If you go to the next page, Julie asked some very good questions, and I thought they were appropriate for everyone, because I imagine that at one point in time, as we've gone through this process, these questions have been on everybody's mind. The first two questions: will the reduction in credit recovery impact the dropout rate? And question number 2, are we only reducing reading recovery on non-Title I campuses? What is the anticipated impact this will have on the campus? I've asked Dr. Riddell to address that.
So in terms of the credit recovery staff, Dr. Rogers and I have talked with high school principals about redesigning our credit recovery program to make it more efficient, more effective. If we have no staff for this, then certainly we lose options for our students. If we keep some of the staff, then we have options for online learning and some potential with the right configuration of the campus for some blended learning, which really would be best for a student who is repeating the course. We do still have at this point night school, and that is also another option. We are concerned about being sure that we give options for students other than just repeating the course that a student might have failed. We do believe that we can be more streamlined in what we do. We will need some staff to do that.
We have, at all 5 of our high schools, every one of them do it a little different, so we will work to take the best ideas from all 5 and to streamline the process and use those good ideas from all of them to create really a more uniform credit recovery. We cannot do away with credit recovery. It helps us keep kids caught up, particularly those at-risk kids that get behind. We want to catch them up as soon as possible. So we need the process. It's just that we believe we can do it in a more effective way.
But if we had all of the people, then, and we're raising class sizes, then we have a different scenario. We asked that question earlier. That's the expanded version.
What's in here is not cutting the program.
These would be the people whose sole jobs are to teach credit recovery courses. So what we would need to think about then would be in what ways could we take existing staff members and possibly pay them to do an extra course or to share a course so that we might still be able to offer it. We would have to get creative, but the idea of absolutely not having any credit recovery that's beyond repeating the course would take us back 5 years, and it would definitely impact our dropout. I mean, 4 times in Algebra 1 is just not fun anymore. So we can't do it.
See, there's the model. We're going to increase class sizes. We're going to raise the requirements to be successful. And oh, by the way, we're going to give you less money to do it. And that's essentially what we're looking at. And, I just don't think we're going to get even a glimmer of hope from those folks who get down there. The hole is so deep that they're going to expect public schools to be part of it. There's just no way around it.
We're doing our best to make you aware of it now.
Well,
Grease the skid, so.
I think the things they usually do, Jeff, the legislature's really good about rumors, little rumblings here and there, and, speaking kind of what I might think might happen from individual legislators. I saw the latest one was Representative Eisler and Senator Shapiro now said they're going to develop a school finance plan. But all the school finance plans have less money.
The other issue dealt with reading recovery. The teachers who would be moved back to classrooms are teachers on the 6 non-Title I campuses. The Title I campuses will keep their credit recovery. Their reading recovery, it's all about recovery. Would keep their reading recovery teachers. One of the options that is tied into this would be that when our reading recovery teacher leader, who is the coordinator for the program, retires, that we would not replace this person. That would mean that we would no longer be a reading recovery site, or as long as we have the people who exist who are reading recovery trained, we would be able to maintain the program even though we're not a site. We would be adding nobody so that should they ever decide, heaven forbid, to retire someday, then if somebody left, that person could not be replaced unless we were